Hi, YouTube. Regina here from Simply Fundamental. So, today's topic. Today, I want to talk to you about financial accountability. When I think about my own retirement planning and how I was successfully able to save and invest so that I have over 10 times my annual income in retirement assets, and how I was able to get my husband to do the same, what was the biggest contributing factor? I think of financial accountability. We took responsibility for how we managed our money. It's plain and it's simple. Not enough people do that. I started this YouTube channel because I was very concerned. Not enough people are saving for retirement. In fact, nearly 60% of Americans rely solely on Social Security as their only form of income in retirement. Now, the craziest thing about this statistic is that retirement is a 40 plus year process. It doesn't happen overnight. It's not like you are 18 one day and 62 to 65 the next. Nope, there were many years in there. And yet, people are going into retirement unplanned and not prepared. So, I want to go through some of the accountability deflections that people do on the earning side and on the spending side. If there is one thing that I could do that could help you become accountable for your financial decisions, it will go a long way in helping you to accumulate wealth. So, on the earning side of the equation, here are some common deflections. The first one would be I wasn't born into money. Now, this is a deflection because it blames upbringing and family wealth and opportunities on where you end up. And while it is true that advantages vary, some people are born into families that have money and even their education is completely set and paid for before they even have their first step, while others are born into poverty. But it is a deflection nonetheless because even people with modest beginnings are able to accumulate wealth. They do it with discipline, financial literacy, consistency, and intentionality when it comes to their money. And you can too. The next common deflection is the system is rigged. Why bother? Now, this blames external resources on why you haven't been able to get ahead or you haven't been able to build wealth or be good with your money. And yes, the world is not perfect. The economical climate that you were born into or that you retire, I'm sorry, that you graduate into if you are doing a formal education. It could be that you start your career in a recession and the job market is not great, but you still have choices and things that you could do that are within your control that can determine your outcome. And many people succeed despite obstacles in every point in time in history. And you can too. The next common deflection is I'm just not good with money. And this is deflection because it is suggesting that your financial traits are fixed, and they are not. We are all born without knowing a single thing about finances, and yet some of us learn, and you can too. Your financial knowledge is not a fixed state, it can change and improve, and you can get good with money. The next one is no one taught me about any of this. This was one I told myself very early on, and I had to learn. And while that is true, many people are not taught a single thing about finances in school. But you can learn. There are so many free resources out there that allow you to gain financial knowledge. And you can too. The next one on the earning side is, it's more of a justification. I work hard for my money. I deserve to spend it. And this is a justification for overspending because in reality, it pushes you away from potentially thinking about ways to grow or earn more income and stay stuck on where you are and not strategize to make more money. Most people in life do not start their career and end their career with the same wage. Usually, as people age, their wage grows. It may not get to a point where it is the same level as the next person, but it doesn't mean that if you kept your expenses low, that you wouldn't be able to get ahead. On the spending side, the deflections that people do, you've probably heard them all. And the first is you only live once, YOLO. And this is a deflection because it gives you a justification for impulse purchases, overspending. And in reality, even if you are not saving, it will catch up to you, the overspending. And most people go into retirement who have not saved any money with financial regret, and their retirement lives are put at risk. The next deflection is I had to buy it. It was on sale. It was a good sale. And this is a justification because it acts as if saving money or spending is a way of saving. And it frames saving almost as if it's a good thing, as opposed to what it really is. It's still spending. So even that 30% discount represents 70% spending, which is really 100%. The next one is I don't want to deprive myself or my family. And this one, it's a tough one, right? But it shapes in a way where someone is taking care of themselves as opposed to what they're really doing is they're spending all for today and saving none for tomorrow. So it frames it in a way that care or love justifies the spending. In reality, modeling good behavior when it comes to finances, particularly around kids, is what really is best for financial accountability or financial stability. The next one is delaying. I'll start budgeting, saving, investing at such and such date. justifying spending again, and things that you need to spend your money on and you're going to start in the future. And that is a deflection because you are procrastinating again, not saving money for your future. The next one is, and this is probably the most dangerous, is everybody's in debt. It's normal. This one normalizes something that isn't good. Just because most people or a majority of people have credit card debt or majority of people take out loans to purchase cars doesn't mean it's a good thing. Intuitively, you know this. Back in the day when I was a kid, car loans were 4 years. Even today, if you were to get, I think it's less common, but 0% financing on a car, the majority, they wouldn't give you a 6 or 7 year car note on a 0% interest. The majority of those 0% financing would give you 4 years maximum. They're not doing you a favor with those heavy car notes. So justifying the fact that most people take out debt to subsidize their life doesn't mean it's a good thing. That just means most people lack financial accountability. So, what is financial accountability and what does it actually look like? Number one, tracking and awareness. You have to know where your money is going. You have to know how much you're earning, where you're spending your money. A lot of people use budgeting apps, spreadsheets, and some people actually use pen to paper. My husband writes down, he goes with the cash system and he writes down his spending. I tend to use credit card for purchases and then banking. And then we come together and we have budgeting conversations of where our money went. We are willing to assess, adjust, and answer to each other. And we're honest and intentional with our money. The next is goal-driven decisions. When you are financially accountable, your money, the way you use your money, the way you spend, the way you save is intentional around goals. And so, in my case, I started my career at 28. I was intentional about saving for retirement. And it is why I am in the position that I am today, that I will be going into retirement with more than 10 times my annual highest year of income. I had clear financial goals. I knew what I was aiming for. As I was getting raises, I increased my retirement. We bought a home. We paid down the mortgage debt. We had regular conversations. Our money did not just evaporate into our lifestyle. We were intentional about spending our money that aligned with our financial goals. And we reviewed them. We had long-term ones, short-term ones. So for instance, a short-term one for me this year would be paying off our rental property mortgage. The next would be we were consistent and we were disciplined when it came to our money. We paid our bills on time. We were concerned with our credit score. We funded our savings. We funded our retirement. We paid ourselves first. And We stuck to the plan of making sure we were putting money in our retirement consistently, month in, month out. And it can be boring at times when you are doing this. It's many years in the making. It doesn't happen overnight. But consistency and discipline of saving money and not spending it all pays off in the long run. We had our routines. We review our net worth regularly, or year over year. I tend to review our net worth. We track our, because we're tracking our finances. We also are tracking to see how we're doing regularly. The next that it includes is honesty and transparency. And so we don't lie to ourselves when it comes to our money. If we overindulge, we are honest with each other of what we were doing right, and what we're doing wrong as far as veering off and away from our goals. And our goals can change. If you share your finances with a partner, it's about being open communication. It's about talking about money. It isn't about shame or guilt. It isn't about not spending any money. It is about committing to a budget and being transparent about how you're spending your money. And it's not about hiding purchases or buying things and sneaking them into your closet, or as what people do. And there is no cheating, as it's called. It's you spending your money whether or not you are aligned on your goals or not. And then there's built-in accountability systems that go into play. And these are things like automating your money. So paying yourself first, automating your money so that you have money automatically going into retirement, into savings, so that you're not tempted to spend it on things that are not aligned with your goals and where you want your money to go. And then what's left over is yours to spend. So there's auto savings, there's bill paying, and then this accountability system could also mean that you have other people that you talk to about your money and that you share your goals with and that you talk about finances with. And it allows you to reflect on them, to again assess how you're doing, adjust accordingly, and answer for how you're doing. Did my spending this month reflect what really matters to me? Did I really save what I was looking to do? Did I consciously meet any of my goals? And then last but not least is ownerships of mistakes and wins. So someone who's accountable for their finances may overspend, but when they do, they review their finances and they may make adjustments, or they could make adjustments in the fact of saying, geez, we need to raise the amount we're spending in that particular category. And then they look over their finances and saying, geez, okay, let's look at things that we can cut. Let's readjust our cable bill, for instance. Do we really need the second DVR? Do we need that subscription? It's not about letting leaks continue and have money evaporate. It's about having your money being spent where you want to. It's being accountable and managing your money. It isn't about perfection. You're going to make mistakes with your money. It isn't about blind budgeting or obsessing about numbers. To me, that would be anxiety, not financial accountability. And it isn't about outsourcing responsibility. And by this I mean, it's not saying, hey, Regina manages the money. I'm going to check out, let her do it, and then we get to retirement and we're set or not set. No, if you're financially accountable, that means that you're tuned in and that you are engaged, and you, even though you may not be the one that is paying the bills or managing the money, you know what's going on and you know where you stand. And so Matt is always in the loop. And it isn't about justifying your spending and every penny you make and how rationalize whether or not you can spend or not. You have permission to spend in the categories as long as it aligns with your goals. And if it doesn't, you readjust how you spend your money. It's not about shame or blame. It isn't about, hey, looking at, whether or not you've spent too much money in one category or the next category. When you are reviewing and assessing how you're doing, it is a forward looking analysis so that you can make course corrections if, let's say, you overspent in a category that you didn't even mean to, or maybe you have to look at your bills in a way and say, geez, are we overcommitting, and can we even afford to increase our needs category? And as far as, let's say, getting a new vehicle, so Matt and I talk about potentially getting a car for Florida, and at this point in time it isn't in our budget, and but it is one of the long-term goals that we want to do. And last but not least, it is not about comparing yourself to other people. My retirement is going to be look very different from yours. My retirement is going to be look very different from a sibling or family member. There are many people in my life who are retiring with so much more money than I do, and have means to make more money than I do, as far as different career trajectories. But I'm okay with where I'm at, and my needs and my wants and my financial goals are in line, and they are perfect for me and my husband. And so comparing yourself to others is not what financial accountability is about. You don't have to measure progress against anyone else except yourself. What is it that you want to do with your money, and where do you want your money to go? And if you are starting early versus starting late with your retirement, then your goals might look different as well than other people. Since everybody wants a beautiful, robust retirement, but not everybody plans for it, because the difference is some people have from the onset are financially accountable for their earning and their spending, and they really take responsibility for how they manage their money. And I want you to too. Anyway, thanks for tuning in, and I will catch you on the next one. Thanks.